And our next guest is here. Our next guest is Mike. I don't know if everybody knows Mike. I'm pretty sure everybody knows Mike, but Mike, can you tell us more about yourself? And thanks for being here.
Hey guys, thanks for having me so much. And Lazar, way to jump into StreamYard with 48 hours right away. That's trial by fire. You got this. I remember learning StreamYard back last year, and we did the 9-hour event, and that was but wanted to make sure that things were working out with that. But excited to be here and excited to share.
Yeah, it's definitely a stupid idea. I really enjoy it. So yeah. Oh yeah. Since you're an expert, idea. Maybe. Well, to be honest, it was what can we do about Prime Day to show people that we're super dedicated as an agency to work on the accounts and that we are really working there. So yeah. One question regarding stream, this should be in private, but who cares? We can do it like this. It's our stream. So for the stream that lasts 9 hours, is it going to break at some point on Facebook or somewhere?
Oh yeah. So that was the issue we were having with StreamYard. It was I would say every couple hours it did break a little bit. And also it's based on a Wi-Fi connection. So if you have a guest that has a weak Wi-Fi, occasionally it drops out a little bit. So when we had 4 or 5 people on a panel, you start hearing a discussion and you'd hear crackling, and we'd have to just mute that person out. And then one person's presentation was completely crackle. So I just put the smack down on the crackling, and we moved on from there. But it was awesome. And man, 48 hours. When I first saw this, are you guys going straight through? Are you going to sleep tonight, Lazar?
Yeah. It's not I'm everybody here is not working more than 8 hours. We're just having shifts.
Got it.
Yeah. When you check, let me share. When you see the office, you can see just a couple of people. There are always 3, 4, 5 people at once. But we have 40 team members in Sellers Alley. So yeah, and we're recording only two rooms. So we have always a certain amount of people there working. So they're covering everything. So yeah. Yes. So nobody can sue me for working 48 hours and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know, but I know entrepreneurs sometimes do some crazy things, and I know you're an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you've worked late hours before, but 48 hours would be a freaking record. I've never worked that long before in my life.
No, me neither. I do like to work a lot, but when it comes to PPC and numbers and everything, it's better to sleep sometime,
Oh yeah. Yeah, like you, I need a break too. Every once in a while, I'm actually doing a workcation for the next 2 weeks.
Nice.
I'm working from Florida, right on the beach near Tampa. So in this place called Indian Rocks Beach, right across the walkway is the beach. And I've been, working out in the morning and getting those creative juices flowing. And I think it's an important part of being an entrepreneur too, is giving your brain a rest. So I've been enjoying that and doing a little workation here in Florida. It's gorgeous here right now.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I'm pretty sure that you're having way better weather than I am. It's not raining at the moment, or it is? It's somewhere between, it's about to rain or something. So I wanted to share one thing with everybody that is watching. You did something really, really good last year, and it was around Christmas, as I remember. It was Golden Nuggets. Can you tell us more about that and stuff that you're doing and what are the next things that you're going to do and so on?
Yeah, guys. So, let me just a little backstory. I am single right now, and I've been dating. And some beautiful girl asked me the other day. She said, "What is the single most proudest moment of your entire life?" And it wasn't without any hesitation. It was Days of Nuggets. It didn't have to think twice. It was Days of Nuggets because it was the one time that I really gave back, and I gave a ton of energy, and there were so many people involved that all stood behind this really great mission, which was to help children who have been trafficked. And the idea came to me, backtrack a little bit, 2 years ago, I went to Ryan Daniel Moran's, I think it was called Freedom Fast Lane back then. And he had the people from Operation Underground Railroad come on, and it planted a seed in my mind that, man, I didn't even know this existed. And there's millions of kids who are missing, and just basically trapped underground or wherever they are and overseas, and they're being abused left and right, and they're being sold. And it's something that I don't think a lot of people were aware of. And I wanted to bring a lot of awareness to it, and then also raise money, because every $2,500 that we raised saves one kid. And basically what they do is they go in with these undercover operations, and they pretend to be child sex traffickers. And then they like basically go undercover with local police officers and save these kids. And then they rehab them afterwards. So it's called the Days of Nuggets. Now, a lot of people are like, what the hell is the Days of Nuggets? If you guys haven't heard about it, it is coming around for 2020 version. That was 2019. We started off, and yes, I'm going to be hitting you up soon, Lazar, for a nugget, and we're going to do it a little bit better this year. So the principle behind the nugget, and you guys know what a nugget is, right? It's a piece of content that helps you grow your business, that helps you take your business to whatever next level for any part of your business. So we have all of these great influencers in the space who all have their unique set of experiences across a wide variety of different topics. And I reached out to them and asked them for a 3 to 5 minute long golden nugget to help grow your business. So whatever that is, and it had to be the best. It couldn't be like, a second rate nugget. It had to be a golden nugget that's going to help, improve their people's businesses. Now, last year, most people stuck to the 5 minutes, but then some people went to like 10, 15 minutes or so, and it got to be like more than an actual nugget. So this year, what we're going to do to make sure that doesn't happen is, after 5 minutes, the video is going to stop short. So if you're watching the nugget and you like the nugget, you actually then have to go donate and go on the backside to watch the full length nugget video. So we're going to have, I think, 5 nuggets a day for the 12 days of nuggets, a total of 60 nuggets. All of them can help change your business. And to watch the full video, the full nugget, make a donation that's going to help save some lives. And I believe it's coming up in probably early December. We haven't finalized the date yet, but very excited about that.
Yeah, to be honest, I remember when you called me for it last year, I was so proud to be part of it, to be honest. It was a really, really like good cause.
Yeah, it really was. And 2020 has been a challenging year, and the whole year I've been thinking, well, we're going to do it again. And then I got hit with inspiration over the weekend, really hard. And that girl asked me, what's the most proudest moment? I'm like, it's time to do Days of Nuggets again. It's time to make that happen again. We probably won't do the mega event because that was a 9-hour straight live stream that almost killed me. But we're gonna do the 12 Days of Nuggets.
Good to know about the 9 hours killing you. That's really optimistic for me. So one of the things that people are really interested today is obviously Prime Day, and it's one of the biggest events in e-commerce. And when I started this stream, I said it's the second biggest one after Singles Day in China, and but in Western Hemisphere this is the thing. So they moved it from basically summer to today and tomorrow because of the situation with global situation and everything. What's your perspective on everything that is going on here with Amazon, with Prime Day, with what is your takeaway when it comes to optimizing spend and basically just talk about Prime Day and stuff.
Yeah, so I could share my screen. I have 12 different points that I want to go over with regards to Prime Day. But, basically, just we are in the middle of a huge boom with e-commerce. And I think the pandemic has helped make that happen a lot sooner than anticipated. The numbers are up. Certain niches aren't doing well right now, but they will do well in the future once things calm down. And I think Prime Day is going to be the prelude to the holiday season because people may not want to shop in retail and they may get started today and tomorrow. So this is, with that being said, it's not like a traditional Prime Day. So I don't know what's going to happen. Who the heck even knows? Maybe it's a flop. Who the heck knows? But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's going to be a lot of traffic. I think people are going to start their holiday shopping today and tomorrow, and they'll probably continue on until the holiday season. But I have a couple of concerns for sellers, and I'd like to go over some things, not concerns, but just some things I would like to bring to mind when selling on Prime Day, because this is a great opportunity, but it also could lead to mistakes. And yes, I'm speaking from experience. So I'll talk about that as well.
Do you want it to be like full screen, like full screen, or do you want us to be here as well? Like,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that people don't like to watch me. They would rather see the content, but like, no pressure.
You could yeah. Well, you know what, Lazar, the way I think we could do this is I can go over one point at a time, and then you and I can go back and forth and see if there's anything that you want to add to that point.
Okay, cool.
All right. So the first one is well, first off, everyone, happy Prime Day. Hope that you're excited about this. Hope you get a lot of sales and how exciting it is. First thing I want to do is go over the data trends from last Prime Day. So we have this tool called ppcentourage.com/community. And And there's this, if you go back to your 2019 Prime Day results, but just keep that in mind that these are bigger sellers, and there's about 200 people that we're looking at with this data. So I'm going to start from left to right just to review some trends, and then Lazar, we can go over this. So first off, now keep in mind, this was July of last year. So the week before Prime Day, these are the average number of impressions that sellers saw across this group of sellers. And then it jumped up to 212,000. So that's basically a 4x increase from 62,000 to 212,000. And then the week after Prime Day, it dropped back down. Now, the week after Prime Day is typically the dead time of the summer in the US. And by the way, these are for US numbers only. Just want to make that clear. And also sponsored product ads only. A couple little caveats there. But look at this, a 4x increase from the week before Prime Day on average to Prime Day. And what does that look like on a graph? Check this out. So these are the average number of impressions per user across the last 2 years. There's been some spikes. We have Black Friday here. That's a little spike. And then it kind of, maintained normal averages throughout the year. And then all of a sudden, bam, this is last year, 2019. This is like a monster spike, per user. And then we can see, we've had some challenges with coronavirus. There was a dip and now it's going back up. I think the dip happened right after coronavirus because there was less ad placements on product detail pages. But the point is, we have never been even close to Prime Day 2019. And I'm really curious to see what Prime Day 2020 is going to bring in terms of ad impressions. All right, Lazar, anything to add on your end with that?
Well, to be honest, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be insane, and it's going to make last year look really bad comparing to what we're going to get this one.
So this is going to be like an anthill on the chart after this year. It's going to be massive. Okay. All right. So next we have, if you look at click-through rate percentage. So now keep in mind that people are browsing and shopping, especially the week before Prime Day, but also on Prime Day, they're likely looking for deals. So there might be a lot more browsing going on. So with those increases in impressions came a lower click-through rate percentage. And if we look at the actual trend and what that looks like on the chart, you can see that it did correspond on Prime Day. We saw a major dip to down to about 0.23 on Prime Day of last year. So interesting to see what's going to happen this year. I just want to also point out, look at this massive jump that happened right after coronavirus. This was when I believe they took away the product detail pages, the sponsored ads on product detail pages. And then there was a lot more placements or there's a lot less impressions, but that means a lot more of those impressions were on top of search or rest of search. So the click-through rate percentage was pretty high after Prime Day. And now it's after the pandemic, and now it's kind of tapered off a little bit. All right, next we have, let's see here, we have the cost per click. So cost per click was $1.26 and then $1.30 the day of Prime Day, and then $1.17 the week after Prime Day. And let's take a look if there's any blips on the screen here. I don't really see something it doesn't really stand out too much. There's a little bit of an increase on Prime Day itself, so not too much to talk about. But it's also good to see the cost per click over a period of 2 years to see the trends. And the good thing is, in the last year, it has been on the decline. So that's really good to see. And we'll look at ACOS as well. Here we have.
Sorry for jumping
Sure.
on this one. Like, do you think that CPC is going down a bit because of more ad placements that are introduced on Amazon, and or no?
Yeah, that's so the cheaper ad placements. Perhaps there's more search terms that are new. Like there's a lot of new products. There's a lot of reasons why there might be a cheaper CPC. Obviously, if you're looking at certain keywords, that's probably not the case. If you wanted to isolate certain keywords, the CPC might be a lot higher. But yeah, there's more placements, like maybe cheaper placements, like the add to cart, that kind of stuff. Product detail pages, could lead to a cheaper cost per click. But it's nice to see it on the decline. It would be interesting to break this down, though. And we do have this breakdown if you go to this page. The CPC over time with top of search compared to rest of search compared to product detail pages. It would be interesting to see if the trends are the same or if top of search is actually is growing and rising compared to product detail pages and rest of search.
Yeah, and to be honest, like I would expect like the CPC is a bit higher during the Prime Day. Like here, it is higher, but not like insanely higher. So like that's a good thing for PPC specialists to understand that maybe they should focus on budgets rather than bits.
Yeah, budgets. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Love to dive deeper. All right, let's go into ACOS. So check this out, Lazar. We have a pretty stable ACOS over 2 years. Are you guys seeing the same thing on your end?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that could be because of more ad placements. That could be, what do you think is the reason behind a stable ACOS? I mean, most people are concerned that the ACOS is going to rise and PPC is not going to be profitable. Are sellers getting smarter at optimizing, or what do you think is the reason?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of different stuff. Like it's, as you said, sellers becoming more educated of like things, what they can do. On the other hand, Amazon is making more ad placements, which is making stuff a bit cheaper if you know what you're doing. But like on the other hand, like it's a balance, because like some stuff are getting more and more expensive, and like the others are newly introduced. Like you're getting video ads for the first time, or you're getting some other. I understand this is all sponsored product, but like in total, when you get something new introduced, like you have an option to advertise in that manner, you're probably going to get good numbers there.
Right. Yeah. All right. So I think the next one is conversion rate. Check this out. Conversion rate on September 15th was really high, 19.4%. So that was the highest conversion rate of all the days. Although we did see, if you go back to Prime Day 2018, 21% conversion rate and a 19% conversion rate last year. So as you can see, the conversion rates are much higher on Prime Day, and we've seen a dip recently in conversion rates, but hopefully that trend does not continue. All right, so I just wanted to review the data from 2019. The second tip I have, and this is something that would have been more useful probably a week or two ago, is to review your own data from 2019. So go back to your products, go back to your campaigns, all of those campaigns that did well, which products did well, which ones didn't, and use the 80-20 principle to drive traffic more to the products that did really well, and then go and learn from your mistakes. This is something that we did and we always do, is go back and make sure that we're driving traffic to the ones that are doing to the listings that are doing really well, and using the campaigns that are doing really well. So go back and look at your data. It's not too late to do so, to make some last minute tweaks and changes. Go back there and see how you did last year in July, and look at your data. Any input there, Lazar?
That makes a lot of sense. Also, it's not late because you have Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and I talked with Brent about that, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to be even crazier this year, because people are probably going to decide to shop online rather than to go to store on Black Fridays. Right. So it's always important to be fully aware of your data. Like if And the good thing is like people own the data. Like
Mhm.
they know everything. Like sellers can like analyze literally every single small part of their account, and they can optimize accordingly.
Right. You may go back and see, and remind yourself that, this SKU did particularly well on Prime Day. And you may want to double down on that SKU and do more ad campaigns, or even get a little creative, which we'll talk about later in terms of ad creative and all the new opportunities that are available for sellers, which is getting more and more exciting, by the way. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So the third tip here is inventory management. And this is a really important part of, I believe, everything that's going on. I had a webinar a couple of weeks back with Chelsea Cohen, and we went over, she's got a tool called So Stocked. And one of the biggest problems that she sees is her marketing teams and advertising teams don't properly forecast and communicate with the inventory management team. So what happens is, a day like Prime Day comes about. You want to do all these great things. You want to create all these great campaigns. And there hasn't been enough inventory. You're not taking inventory into account enough, and all of a sudden you run out of stock. And right now, I don't think that's a really good thing to do heading into the holidays, especially if you give it away at a steep discount. So inventory management is absolutely critical. There's a lot of things that are making it a little bit more challenging right now, but having a good hand on inventory management and making sure you're communicating, or your teams are communicating together, so that when you're doing your Amazon ads and you're forecasting a particular amount of sales for Prime Day, you're communicating that with the inventory management team, who can tell you whether or not you can get those sales or not based on your inventory. So that's tip number 3.
Makes sense.
All right, next we have Know Your Margins. So I have the PPC Entourage Margins tool. So this is an important one. Back in 2017, we made a mistake of going all out with our margins, with our on Prime Day, and we sold about $200,000 on that day. And unfortunately, we sold way more than we thought we were going to. We ran out of inventory, so we made the mistake highlighted in the previous bullet point. And then also, when we looked at our numbers at the end, we really didn't have a lot of profit or margin left over at the end of the day. And this is something that I see routinely with Amazon sellers, because we dive into the margins account for all of the sellers that we work with. And inside of the margins tool, we can see what the net margins are, but we could also see what the margins are on an individual SKU by SKU basis. So if you don't have the margins to support a discount, especially on Prime Day when people are looking for a discount, then it may not be a good product to really promote on Prime Day. Like, unless there's some kind of benefit to getting that product out there at a steep discount, maybe ranking or gaining future customers or whatever the case may be, make sure you have margins to support the discount that you are giving. You would be shocked at how many people don't have the margins, but they just want to get the sales. And then they're left over with less money to reinvest in their business, less money to reinvest in themselves, less money to reinvest in inventory, and it becomes an issue going down the line. So like I said, back in 2017, we did make this mistake, and we did like $200,000 in sales in one Prime Day, and we really we didn't have, it was like 5% margins. So that's something that we would not do again. But then also look on a SKU by SKU basis. If you go down here, you can see that certain SKUs have margins that you can play around with. And you can see, 27%, 23%, 38%. So if you were to put a discount, it would reduce it by that amount and reduce your margins by that amount. And then also take a look at the different impacts that you have across the board. So the cost of good impacts, and the advertising impacts, and the FBA fee impacts, and the return fee impacts, and the promotion fee impacts. So right now, we're not doing any promotions, and overall, this account is at a 17% margin. But if I go down, I can see that this product here is not doing any promotion, and it can afford to do some promotion because of the margin impact. And there's still some margins left to play. So know your numbers and know your profitability, and make sure that you use that to make smart decisions.
Makes sense.
All right, what do we got next? All right, increase PPC budgets. All right, Lazar, we spoke about, or you mentioned this before.
Yep.
So increasing PPC budgets is something that if you haven't done yet, you could definitely do this now. A lot of sellers do it the night before. Amazon will tell you to do it days before, of course, because they love to spend our money. and they love to increase our bids. I'll never forget. Can I share a mistake that I made?
Sure.
Yeah, years ago, Amazon, when they first started like reaching out and giving suggestions using bulk files on bid optimizations, I said, why not? They must know better. So I took them up on it and I did it. And there was a silver lining behind this, but so I used all of their optimizations and like kind of blindly, and it increased our bids, some of them $8, $9, $10. And the goal was to hit a certain ACOS target and scale. But what happened was we just scaled our budget and we ended up wasting a ton of money, and it took a while to revert everything. So the silver lining behind this was we ended up coming up with the bulk editor tool because I did not want to learn how to use spreadsheets. Lazar, I don't use spreadsheets. That's why I do PPC Budgets. I'm a recovering physical therapist. I have been, in the physical therapy field for my whole life, and then got into Amazon. I'm not about to learn spreadsheets. So we built the bulk editor as a result of that mistake. And the bulk editor is now, kind of what we're known for, making big sweeping changes across your accounts, all at once across multiple campaigns. The point is, Amazon will tell you to raise your bids and your budgets. You guys know this. You've seen the emails. They won't tell you to revert it, unfortunately. And that could lead to a lot of wasted ad spend, especially the day after Prime Day. I think after Prime Day, then you're going to want to put your budgets back down. This is a little bit different.
Oh, I think I'm losing Mike once again. Wait. Okay. No. Yeah, I definitely cannot hear Mike. Mike, wait.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
No, what you did, it worked.
Okay. All right. Great. I'm glad you guys can hear me. I hope that you're all still here. So, we were talking about budgets. I don't know how much of what I said you guys heard, but with regards to budgets, Lazar, you spoke about before about raising your budgets more than your bids, and I agree. A lot of sellers probably did it last night. If you haven't done it, do it today, but make sure that you go back afterwards and be mindful of the budget increases that you did do, because Amazon's not going to tell you to reduce your budget afterwards. So that was the general gist of the story. I don't know. The other thing is going back and looking at the campaigns that have done really well. So go back to the campaigns that are seasoned, that have the products that have done really well. Make sure you know your SKUs, know your campaigns, increase the budgets on those first. Use the 80-20 principle. And then also, I'd like to talk about the customer buying cycle with regards to increasing your budgets. We'll talk about that in a second. But Lazar, anything else on your end with regards to increasing budgets?
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you. And as you said, that's something that I already talked about. Like, increasing budget is more important than increasing bids. Like, I know that a lot of people are saying that increasing bids is more important and like it's the most important. Like, even if you do that, you need to increase the budget because you're going to burn out your budget in a second. But like, I strongly recommend not to increase bids a lot. Like, if you want to increase them, it's okay, but like don't like double it or something like that. Just make sure that you're spending enough money. And like, if you check your budgets and if you see that you're spending a lot of money and you don't see the sales at the beginning, 72-hour discrepancy on Amazon is the reason. Like, I know it's stressful. Like, first time when I saw what happened, like when I started working on Amazon, I was so stressed about that because I couldn't see any sales and I just saw the spend. It's going to come, but it just needs like 72 hours and that's it.
Right. So don't freak out, but also don't make the mistake of increasing your bids too much. And, I'd like to tie this into the type of campaign, because there's all different types of campaigns. And that ties into point number 6 is the buying cycle. So essentially, this is the customer buying cycle. For those of you who aren't familiar with this is basically what shoppers go through when they purchase something on Amazon. So many shoppers might be going through this entire buying cycle in 2 days because they're on Amazon looking for gifts, looking for something, or maybe they're looking for a deal. Maybe they started this buying cycle months and months ago, and now they're here looking for a deal. So they're in the information stage, evaluation of alternatives, or they're just ready. They know what they want, and they're here for the purchase decision. So I'm going to just briefly describe what this is and tell a little story, and then also talk about some of the campaigns that fit into this. And then with regards to budget, which one of those campaigns I think would be a good campaign to increase your budget on, because we have all these different ad types. So the customer buying cycle, little backstory, I went through this whole customer buying cycle in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, I think, in the middle of the night a couple of weeks ago. And basically, I was on my phone, which I know they tell you not to do, and I saw an ad on Instagram, and it said, if you have, it was basically for low-profile socks, and they were pulling this person across the football field with low-profile socks. And I'm like, what the heck is that? Now, Lazar, I have size 16 feet, and anything that I can do to reduce the visibility of my feet, I've always looked into that. So I saw these low-profile socks. I don't know how they targeted me, but then maybe they knew. And I was like, okay, I am hooked into watching this 2-minute ad. So essentially what they did was they brought the awareness that these are a new style of low profile socks that essentially stay on your feet. They don't make your feet sweaty. They don't, they don't fall off your feet throughout the day, because that happens if you have big feet. So they brought me through the awareness stage by catching my attention and by helping me become aware of the problem that I kind of knew that I had, but I didn't know how to solve it. And that's great in this phase. But then they took me through all of the information search, the evaluation of alternatives. They showed me what was out there, why it sucked, why it didn't work, what else, is the problem that those products have, basically saved me the time in that one commercial of actually shopping. Now on Amazon, that's a little bit different. People may become aware of it off of Amazon or on Amazon through your Amazon advertising. And then they go through these stages by looking at different reviews, looking at different listings, and checking to see if that's the product that they want. They look at price points, all of that stuff. And then finally, there was a strong call to action to make the purchase, which, by the way, I ended up not doing because I could not remember my PayPal password. But on Amazon, I think that's a different case. And then there's the post-purchase phase, which is something that I didn't go through on that 2-minute video. But the post-purchase phase would be like following up and making sure that you have your brand awareness campaigns going and all that kind of stuff. So my question, Lazar, to you, and we could open up dialogue here, is there's all these different, there's the customer buying cycle, and there's all these different ad types, sponsored product ads, sponsored brand ads, sponsored display ads, and all of them can work their way into this customer buying cycle by using a different strategy. Given the fact that it's Prime Day, and we have all of these different opportunities, a lot of sellers probably have a lot of these different campaigns, and we want to increase budget on the campaigns that are going to perform. Which one of the campaigns do you think we should focus on? And let me be a little bit clearer with that. We have the discovery-based campaigns where we're going after new audiences and we're trying to help people discover our brand. Then we have people who are looking for alternatives. That could be some dialed-in search term scraping campaigns or whatever the case may be there. Or even like the views audiences or the searches audience. And then we have like the keywords that we know work well for us in those dialed in campaigns. And then we have our audience that's going to come back and hopefully find a deal on Prime Day and purchase from us again. So any input there, Lazar?
Yeah, It's basically what's your strategy there, but there is one really important thing when it comes to brand awareness and like that search funnel and purchasing funnel that you're mentioning. What is important, like what we realized that is going on Amazon in the last year or so, people are more and more using Amazon for searches, for discovering new products. They're not doing it on Google that much. Like Google is still the search engine, but people are starting to use Amazon as a search engine as well, because they're just used to it, like buying stuff there, and they know that Amazon is the place where you want to make a purchase. Like 50% of all sales in US made online are made on Amazon, and Amazon is now the place where you can find more and more like search terms and search queries that are less relevant to your product. Like it was caught through like automatic campaigns and so on, but you can see that people are using Amazon more and more for searches to understand and like to like what I usually like explaining to my clients, like when we're talking about sponsored brand ads, like people usually complain like why they don't perform, and like they are, but they don't have the same goal as like sponsored product campaign that is like they're like, if you're targeting that specific keyword that is like the most relevant for your product, like that one is made to make a purchase, like last click purchase. And on the other hand, you have sponsored brand campaign that is made more for like brand awareness, and it's really important part of the search funnel, of purchasing funnel. Like I usually take an example of a guy that is, or girl, doesn't matter, that is using cell phone in traffic, like in a bus or train or wherever, and they're searching for stuff, and like they finally see some specific ad. It's usually sponsored brand ad because it's like on the top of the screen when you click it. And at that point, they realize what's the brand. They learn about your product and so on. And after that, like they're like, oh, I need to jump off the train or like bus or whatever. It's my stop. I need to go to work or whatever. And when they have time, next time when they open computer, like they're even using different device. They're not using the same one. They're now using some other search query. They're using some other search term in search for buying the product. And this time they're using something more relevant. And like from the perspective of a seller, you can say at that point, like, oh, this other search term is the more relevant to me because like people are buying more using that one because like conversion rate is better, click-through rate is better, like all the metrics are better. But that previous sponsored brand campaign really affected that your sponsored product campaign works like that. Like,
yeah, well said. And my face is freezing, so I don't know if you guys can actually see any facial expressions right now. Hopefully you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Okay, good. Yeah, well said. You know, people are searching more on Amazon. I know my personal habits, I search more on Amazon. Well, I go to Google and search first and then go to Amazon if I know I want to purchase something. But I can go to an Amazon listing and learn about what I want to purchase, read the reviews, get all the feedback I want, and then go from there. And also, there's been studies on Google, more so than Amazon. I don't think there's any studies on Amazon, but I'm sure this is true too. But on Google, if you have the top placements for your advertisement, people are more likely to click on your organic listing and purchase and make a purchase from there. So it's been studied many, many times, and I don't see why that wouldn't happen on Amazon as well. The one thing I want to dial back into, though, is Prime Day, because this is a whole new beast. You know, and many sellers have a budget. Some bigger brands don't. You know, the thing is, on Prime Day, is it a good, wise choice of your ad spend and your budget spend to have a big budget towards this phase? So discovery phase, where you're going after a bigger reach, a bigger audience. You know, you're targeting new customers. You know, I suppose, in my opinion, it really depends on what your budget is. I do think a budget is necessary for this. I think breaking it down and having an overall budget for Amazon ads and then breaking it down by the type and the strategy is really, really important, because otherwise you can blow through your entire budget in no time using these types of ads. What do you think, Lazar?
Yeah, definitely. During Prime Day, you can see a lot of money burning just because like you didn't optimize in the right manner.
Right. Okay. So then, you know, what about you're going to do one more point here, the post-purchase phase. This is where I would really uncap my budget. You know, So if people are looking for me, this would be totally uncapped. I want as many people as possible who are looking for me to find my stuff and not fall off the face of the earth with some other brand and fall in love. So that's something I would uncap. In terms of the purchase decision phase, if these campaigns are super dialed in, this is where your bidding is dialed in. You've done all the work. You know what connects and resonates and converts. I would consider uncapping these as well. And then this is where there could be some strategy as well in the consideration phase. I guess it depends on how dialed in these campaigns are, how dialed in your listings are. But I would consider really thinking about your campaign types and thinking about who you want to target and making sure that you break down your budgets rather than just blindly increasing your budgets, because that could get very expensive, especially if you do it more so on the awareness phase.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
All right, so next we have increased bids, and this I think is less important if you have your campaigns dialed in. Amazon will send you that lovely email to increase your bids, and then most sellers forget to reduce your bids. So unfortunately that does happen. If you do decide to increase your bids, make sure that you go back and reduce your bids afterwards. You don't want to start this trend of increasing bids, and then before you know it, your performance is not the same. So if you do increase your bids, a slight increase, especially if you have your campaigns dialed in. Any input there, Lazar?
I definitely agree with you on like almost everything that you're saying. So I'm just like nodding my head and confirming. So definitely. Like,
okay.
What
see you? But go ahead.
What usually happens, as you mentioned, like people forget to decrease bids, and like that happens after Prime Day or some big date. People just like start burning the money there.
Yeah, I think there's that Prime Day, feeling of elation, and people just say, "Fuck it, I'm going to go celebrate," and just maybe they don't go to work or something, and then they forget some of the basic stuff. But if you have a company or manager like Sellers Alley or Entourage Management managing it, that could help for sure. But definitely make sure that you go ahead and make those adjustments afterwards. That being said, this is something that you probably could have reviewed, a little bit, like maybe a week ago before Prime Day. Not a lot of sellers are looking at this more and more, but some sellers are not, in terms of reviewing your placements and where that campaign is performing and where it's performing the best. So maybe it's a little bit too late to make these adjustments now. Perhaps next year you can review your placements, or just do it as good practice to optimizing your ads and getting these deep bid optimizations. But definitely review your placements to see where they're performing, and then make your base bid adjustments and also your placement modifier adjustments. I don't know if I would suggest doing that right now. This is more working up to Prime Day, but something to remember next year. Lazar, do you agree with that, or do you have a different opinion?
No, definitely. I would definitely do in-depth analysis when it comes to each ASIN separately, because like it doesn't necessarily mean that like, oh, this is like my niche, and like it's always like for my product better to be on the top, or like on a product listing page, or like some other placement. Like it's always important to double check for each product separately to see like what's the best place to advertise it, and like you should definitely bid accordingly. Like what usually people forget to do, and like when they introduce like bidding by placement on Amazon, I remember that people burning a lot of money just because they had an option to increase bids for 900%, if you can remember that one. So like I would never suggest like increasing bid for 900%, because it means that your current bid can go up to 9 times to what you have at the moment. So make sure that you don't increase that bidding by placement option a lot. Like do it like 10, 15, 20%, not more than that, if you're not absolutely sure that you know what you're doing.
Right, especially on a day like today, like maybe some sellers will get excited and want to take advantage of all the traffic and then just do one of those placements today. I think that could be an expensive decision. So
yeah.
Make these decisions the week before or months before, or just make it part of your daily practice or your weekly optimization practice to look at placements. All right, next we have create deals. Obviously people are looking for deals, and Of course, this is something that you could have done before Prime Day, but I also want to talk more about bundles and some opportunities with bundles. So with regards to deals, here is an example of a bundle, and I actually have this live if it didn't get taken down. Here it is. Let's go live. Okay, here's an example of a bundle, and I love how this bundle takes up a lot of real estate of the page. So if you're looking to protect your brand, look at this. It's pushing down some sponsored ads and some sponsored brand ads that normally would show up right over here, which is really cool. So more eyeballs on your product, always a good thing. Now, I'm not quite sure if you can create a bundle now because I'm not quite sure if it might be too late to have a Prime Day bundle, and there's probably better things to do with your time right now. But leading up to next Prime Day or even leading up to the holiday season, create a deal or a bundle. A couple notes with this is there's not a lot of text on the headline over here. And I think there's a high possibility of adding a layer of confusion for these bundles. And how I know that is I've looked at a bunch of these and I got completely confused as to what was actually in the bundle. This particular listing has the plus sign, so you can see that you kind of see what you get, which I really like. It's still very condensed and very challenging to see the whole thing. What I noticed in some of the other listings was that the space here for the title was taken up by their brand name and then some other long title of the first product, and then I didn't know what was in the actual bundle. So this is all still new to a lot of sellers, and we're all still testing this out. But I think keeping your bundle title simple and also keeping your bullet points very simple will help to reduce or improve the clarity in terms of like what's actually in the bundle, so people will know what they're getting and clicking on and all that kind of stuff. So for example, if I click on this is the first bundle. There's a really long headline. Lazar, do you know if these bundles are being indexed?
To be honest, I have no idea.
Yeah, neither do I. So if let's say, what are the chances that this is going to be indexed and get like a lot of organic sales? I don't know at this point, but I would play these bundles in a way that improves or just reduces confusion. So rather than having this long title, that's probably meant for some keyword indexing, I would just say Poligo, this plus that. This is the bundle. Clarity, scannable, going down the page. This is not clear. I think it's a combination of multiple different products. And I'm sorry if I'm picking on your product if this is someone that is watching. But this is it's a combination of bullet points from the other listings. So to me, it adds a lot of confusion because then you got to go down here to see what's actually in the listing or in the bundle rather. And then you get all of the bullet points here anyway. So why not make these bullet points super simple and be like, okay, this is what you get. Plus you get this, plus you get this equals the bundle, to make sure that it's scannable. That will bring the actual products up a little bit higher. And then you would have a clearer bundle. So like I said, this is all new to a lot of people, and I'm seeing a lot of sellers kind of just throw this together, but I think there has to be some work done behind it to make it really clear in terms of what people are actually getting. And last thing about bundles is you can advertise bundles, which is cool. I actually really, because it's a little confusing in terms of like how you can advertise these bundles, but as far as I know, you can advertise these bundles for sponsored brand ad headlines. So you can have it as part of your sponsored brand ads, which is pretty cool if you want to upsell or if you want to use other products or the products inside of that bundle to like showcase all of the reviews and stuff, because these bundles do not have reviews natively. So sponsored brand ads, yes. Sponsored display only for the purchases and searches audience, not for product targeting. I'm sorry, not for no, what's the other one? We got product targeting. Yeah. So only for the purchases and searches audience, unfortunately. I thought it would have been pretty cool to have that in product targeting. And no for sponsored product ads. You can't do the bundle for sponsored product ads, sponsored brand, store spotlight, or video, or sponsored display product targeting. So Lazar, any? I know this is all so new with the bundles, and any word on that?
That's definitely a new thing. We're testing a lot of stuff there, comparing like what might work, because like PPC is all about A/B tests all the time, and especially when something new like this comes. And I think this is like your goal for our listeners when it comes to like knowing what kinds of campaigns they can create for bundles. Like I'm pretty sure that not a lot of sellers are fully aware of like what kind of campaigns you can create with bundles.
Yeah, I wasn't aware either until yesterday. I'm like, which kind of campaigns can you create with bundles? And it's in my account, you couldn't do it with sponsored display product targeting, which is where I really want to see the bundle. Because how cool would it be if you could create the bundle and put it right over here as an upsell, right over here.
That would be awesome.
Right. So you put a bundle right there, and it not only does it protect your brand, but it potentially you get a higher average cart, and there's an upsell, more dollars per cart. So unfortunately, I didn't see it on my end, but hopefully they'll launch that soon. All right. Next, we have deal-specific headlines.
Okay.
So this is number 10. Once again, it's probably a little bit too late to create these, or maybe do this the week before next time, or use this strategy for the holiday. Check this out. Subscribe and save wild caught omega-3 fish oils. So the subscribe and save is the deal specific headline. That's a really great way to get more subscribe and saves, but Amazon has specific rules for this. Basically say the promotion or deal must be visible on the product detail page. So if you talk about some kind of promotion or deal, it has to be visible on the product detail page. It can't just be like something that you make up out of thin air, and valid for the duration of the campaign. So if you have some kind of a coupon or a promotion, make sure that it aligns with the sponsored brand ad, and it's ongoing during that sponsored brand ad, during the life of that sponsored brand ad. Also, they prohibit any reference to specific pricing promotions in sponsored brands. This includes deals, offers, or savings, such as save 50% on or $20 off. So you can't really say like, you're saving this amount off. You could just say, save on this, or bundle and save, which is interesting because I don't think many sellers are using that language. Check this out. Promo headlines. You could do something as simple as product savings. And this I got from Amazon, by the way. This is right off of Amazon. So this is legit and it's allowed. Product savings, savings on product, save now. So you can put save in your headline. Great prices on product, great savings on product, great bundles on product. That one I added myself. Great bundles on this. Buy product and get this free product. All right. So make use of your deal headlines if you haven't done so already. Might be a little bit too late to do it for Prime Day, but maybe Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it would take some time to get those ads approved at this point, especially it's the craziest day in the year. So
yeah, probably too late, little late, but you could do it next year. And also here's a couple more: compare and save, compare on XXX and save, bundle and save, and subscribe and save. How are we doing on time? I know we have a couple minutes left.
Yeah, we're 5 more minutes.
Okay. Next thing is to brand up. Once again, it's a little bit too late to do this, but we're leading into the holiday season, and it's time for everyone to brand up. So maybe it's not too late to do this. Think about your brand, and this is something that I had to do for PPC Entourage. I'm an introvert, and for me to do these lives and to go on and do lives, it's out of my nature. But, there's opportunity to get to showcase your brand. And today is a great opportunity to potentially showcase your brand. So something like an Amazon post or even an Amazon Live, if you really want to go nuts and do an Amazon Live, these opportunities are there. And this could be a great day with all of the traffic to make a post about your discount or to do a live about your product and showcase your product and really brand up today, and maybe start some really good habits that a lot of sellers likely aren't doing. So this is just an idea that came to my mind, probably going above and beyond. But if you have the wherewithal to do this, and I think it could be a good idea. Also, in terms of brand up, Lazar, have you seen this? This was new to me the other day, and I'm like, is this new to everyone or just me? This is brands related to this category on Amazon. These are sponsored brand ads. And
it should be sponsored brand ads, custom image ads.
Right. And so this is beautifully showing up right below the bullet points. It's custom image for sponsored brand ads. So another opportunity to brand up. The other version of these sponsored brand ads don't look so nice, in my opinion. What do you think, Lazar?
This is so good. We tested this kind of campaigns with our clients. It's basically making your products at least like 20% more expensive. Like you can easily increase your price and like because it makes them more premium. If you have really good visuals like these that you're showing, like compare that and just having some random picture of the product, and like this makes you it gives the feeling that the product is premium, and like it really works. We tried a bunch of stuff. We tried lifestyle images. We tried like images that would make people like feel and compare themselves to the situation that they see, or like different stuff like and it works really good. Like I highly recommend using custom images.
Yeah, it has a really good look and feel. And I think Amazon's going to be using these more and more, because this is actually the first time I've seen it on a detail page. Traditionally, it was like on the search results, but I'm sure they're going to be using it more and more. Last thing is to Storefront Up, and I'm kind of out of time, but I think that making sure that your storefront is really optimized is a good way to go, and also having a deals category, or like a holiday gift category that's coming up. Because like, remember, we're in Prime Day, but we're leading into the holidays. So having an extra category where we can drive shoppers through sponsored brand ads to these great category pages to help reduce the clutter, so people can know where to go and know the page where you have those deals and where you have those gifts, and drive traffic that way. And lastly, before I shut up, Days of Nuggets, guys. I don't know the exact day yet, but if you are not aware of Days of Nuggets, it's coming back, and I have a meeting this weekend, and we're going to be bringing it to life. So you can donate now. Just as little as $10 can help very much. Go to our site, daysofnuggets.com. There's a lot of premium content on there, including Lazar. Lazar, do you remember what you spoke about last year? It was long ago.
Have no idea. Okay. Have no idea, but I remember that I tried really hard to provide something valuable.
Right. All right. Well, I'm all out, and I really do appreciate having me on. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for accepting an invite on such short notice, and I would be glad to like call you in the future, like whenever we do some crazy stuff like this.
Yeah, let's do some crazy stuff. Let's get wild. By the way, great podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Okay. Thank you so much, and it was a pleasure talking to you. Bye.
Bye.